I have the honor and privilege of presenting the Daniel Ginsberg Awards here this evening. Let me tell you a bit about Daniel. As a young leader at ADL, Dan was committed to our mission and passionate about our fight against discrimination and hate. He was, in every sense of the word, a true leader who took great pride in his efforts on behalf of ADL. Dan believed in the importance of developing, supporting, and nurturing new leaders for the organization. And we lost him way, way, way too young. If Daniel was still with us, it's my bet that he might be our national chair. He would definitely be here tonight. And it was in his spirit to remember Dan and all that he gave this organization that we created this, the Daniel R. Ginsberg Leadership Award, in collaboration and with the support of Karen and his family. Since the first award was given 21 years ago in 1995, ADL has conferred the Ginsberg Leadership Award on 98 outstanding young leaders from across the country, all individuals who give so much of themselves to ADL, like so many of you in this room. Now, each year we receive a number of wonderful applicants, and it gets more difficult to choose the winners. This year was no exception, but we have selected 3 outstanding recipients. And it's really, as Tracy was talking about the perks of the job, it is truly a perk for me to be able to stand up here tonight as we honor and bring these people, these individuals, into this distinguished fellowship of winners. And so, it gives me great pride to announce our first Ginsberg Leadership Award tonight. It goes to Nicole Soussan Kaplan from Houston, Texas. Nicole is, I'm going to sing your praises if you don't mind for a moment. Nicole is GLI, look at the lights are going all over. Nicole is GLI Chair, co-chair of the Young Leaders and Professionals Associate Board, Chair and Vice Chair of the Jurisprudence Award Luncheon. Now, George Gibson, Chair of the Southwest Region, said of Nicole, quote, "She has worked tirelessly and with dedication to further our mission. Nicole has been particularly effective among her peers in the young professional community, and her vision has jump-started our young professional programming. Nicole is a connector, and she is not shy to use her connections to benefit ADL. Her commitment to ADL is evident. She is a doer, an achiever, an extremely valuable leader for us." And Diane Gross, the regional director, said, "Nicole is all about action. Action in chairing events, action in inspiring others to give of themselves and get involved, and action in spreading the message that hate of any kind is unacceptable. Nicole truly is a force for change." I am pleased, all of us at ADL are pleased, to present a Ginsberg Leadership Award tonight to Nicole Soussan Kaplan.
Well, I paid Diane and George a lot to say all those things, so I really appreciate it and appreciate that introduction, Jonathan. As so many of you, I'm sure, will agree, being involved in the ADL and having an outlet to channel frustrations with the current climate, if you will, it means a lot to me. It helps keep me grounded, and I like to say it is my work-life balance in the we think everything is very important corporate world that I practice law in. But from my ADL experience and the perspective that it's brought me, given tonight's a leadership conference, I think that there's 3 principles that I've come to embrace, both in my personal life and in my leadership style. First, push the boundaries. Ask the tough questions. Just because something has been done a certain way, does that mean it needs to be done that way again? Sometimes the answer is absolutely yes, other times it's no. So think critically, challenge the status quo, push the boundaries, but also know when to take a step back. Sometimes the best outcomes come when it's not you. I remember my husband asking me at an ADL Young Professionals event if I was sad that I wasn't the one who planned the program and was up front leading it. He knows me well. But his question allowed me the opportunity to realize and think about that there's something so much better than leading yourself, and that is when you see something that you've created survive without you, and that it provides leadership opportunities for other people. Taking a step back was a huge gain for me. Finally, and I think you've heard this a couple times already today, but the other night at another one of our Young Professionals program, our speaker said that all research indicates that the only way to change someone's mind is for them to like you. So all of the science says that you have to form a connection. Someone has to feel invested. And so in that, I think something that I've really taken away from my work in ADL is that we have to connect. We have to connect with those who have different perspectives. If we don't connect with them, we lose the opportunity to not only change their mind, but our own perspective. So in this highly polarized world that we live in, it's, I think, imperative upon us that we stop ridiculing and start connecting. So thank you so much for this honor. Without the ADL staff and lay leaders in the Southwest region, I wouldn't be here. Thank you so much to the Daniel Ginsberg Foundation and his family and friends, who it is absolutely humbling to accept this honor in his name. And thank you so much to my husband for being here, and to all of you guys. Thank you.
Our next recipient is Jessica Cher from the Washington, D.C. region. They're a quiet bunch, the D.C. crowd. Jessica is a regional board member, chair of the ADL Next Gen D.C., and serves on a number of committees. She's also a former GLI participant. Regional Board Chair David Cohen said of Jessica, Jess has not only become an example and role model for young professionals seeking involvement in ADL, but she's been a true inspiration to Washington and our entire regional board. Seeing her further engagement in ADL's mission has motivated us all. Jess has been instrumental in the revitalization of our next-gen programming. She's a frontline advocate and ambassador for ADL on all fronts. And Regional Director Daron Ezekson said, Jessica is widely respected across the organization and throughout the community. She is an invested philanthropist and makes ADL a priority, showing what leadership is all about. We are fortunate that Jess chose to dedicate her skills and passion to our organization. I am pleased this evening to present the Ginsberg Leadership Award to Jessica Cher.
Thank you. I'm so honored to accept the Daniel Ginsberg Leadership Award tonight, and especially in such good company. Congratulations to you both, Nicole and Marjorie. I grew up in St. Petersburg, Florida, where my family's lived for 4 generations. Today, St. Pete is known not only for its beautiful beaches, but also for its diversity. But it wasn't always a welcoming place for Jews like me. Throughout my childhood, I heard stories of my grandparents being banned from hotels along the beach with signs that read, "No blacks, no Jews, no dogs." Never once to back down from a challenge, they worked hard to build a thriving Jewish community. First by opening a hotel where Jews would feel welcome, and then by founding both a synagogue and a temple. As my role models, my family has shown a long legacy of helping and defending others, pursuing what you believe in, and most importantly, inclusivity. Their lives have helped me learn to live Hillel's message of if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? But if I'm only for myself, who am I? While my grandparents' fight was against anti-Semitism, my fight has been for access to quality education for all students. Over 10 years ago, fresh out of my graduate program in social work, I first learned about ADL when I became the peer training coordinator for the A World of Difference program at Thurgood Marshall Academy, a public charter high school not too far from here in Southeast DC. Every Wednesday, I led weekly meetings for about 20 students, all of whom were African American, living at or below the poverty line, and would be the first in their family to go to college. Guided by the ADL curriculum, students formed a safe and supportive environment to explore their identities. They discussed sexual orientation, skin color, their experiences with bullying, and much more. Being able to create that space for them to explore those feelings and learn to help their peers do the same continues to be one of the best professional experiences of my life. Just as the students in my classroom discovered their voices through ADL years ago, I too have discovered mine. Through my involvement, I fight for my fellow Jews by standing up to anti-Semitic acts right here in my own community. I proudly stand as an ally with my gay and lesbian friends and advocate for their right to live their lives as freely as I can. I protest to remind our lawmakers that immigrants and people of color deserve equal protection under the law. And as an aunt to my niece and nephew, I fervently support ADL's educational programming in a pursuit of the belief that hate is learned and it can be unlearned. Of course, none of this would be possible or nearly as much fun without the incredible staff who continually inspire me in our DC regional office, and our regional board members who truly believe in supporting Next Gen, and our fiercely passionate young professional lay leaders, many of whom have become my closest friends. I'm forever grateful for the opportunities my involvement with ADL has afforded me over the past decade. For those of you graduating from the Glass Leadership Institute this year, including my sister Allie, I hope that your next 10 years will be as fulfilling as mine have been. Thanks again.
Our final recipient tonight of the Daniel Ginsberg Leadership Award is none other than Marjorie Zessar from the great city of Chicago. Margie is a National Commissioner, Regional Vice Chair, Leadership 2020 member, Vice Chair of the National Advocacy and Engagement Committee, serves on the Legal Affairs and Civil Rights National Committees, and also I had the great pleasure of taking my first mission to Israel as ADL CEO with Margie in the 2020 group in August of 2015. Regional Board Chair Barbara Edelman said of Margie, quote, "She is often a go-to person because staff know they can count on her to do what needs to be done. She will provide thoughtful, creative advice, and she has absolutely no agenda other than the best interests of ADL. ADL is a part of her soul, is a part of who she is as a human being, and that shows in every ADL activity she participates in. There is no one for whom her peers have a higher regard, and that is an understatement." Regional Director Lonnie Nassiter said, quote, "The passion she has for our issues and the willingness to help in any way to advance our cause is tremendous. Margie is bright and courteous and is truly respected. She is an all-around good person who displays passion and leadership." And as I discovered, when, again, we had the chance to travel together to Israel, I just got to say she's an awfully nice person. And I think nice goes a long way. Dad, you should be very, very proud. So without further ado, please allow me to give the third and final Daniel Ginsberg Leadership Award tonight to Marjorie Zessar.
Thank you, Jonathan, for that lovely introduction. I am deeply moved and extremely honored to receive the Daniel R. Ginsberg Leadership Award. I'd first like to congratulate Jessica and Nicole, two wonderful women with whom I'm so proud to share this award. I also want to express my heartfelt gratitude to Karen Ginsberg Greenwald and the Ginsberg family, the award selection committee, Barbara Adelman, Lonnie Nassiter, and Miriam Zeidman for nominating me, Jonathan, and the amazing ADL professionals whose tireless dedication inspires me on a daily basis, and my extended family and friends, many of whom are here in the room. I'd especially like to thank my parents, my heroes. I will be forever grateful. Sorry. For your unconditional love, support, and guidance. You are true north on the compass of my life. It means the world to have my father, Marv Zessar, and my former law firm partner, mentor, and surrogate father, Barry Neckrits, here this evening. My mom would have loved to join us, but was unfortunately unable to make the trip, so she's here with us in spirit. As part of the nomination process, I had the opportunity to think about how best to articulate what my involvement in the ADL means to me. And admittedly, it was slightly challenging to put into words because the meaning runs deep. It's visceral and goes well beyond the intellectual. My involvement as an ADL lay leader and activist is inextricably linked with the defining characteristics of my identity as a Jew, an American, an attorney, and a woman. It's not simply something I do, it's an integral part of who I am and what I stand for. Like many of you, my passion for the ADL began as a participant in GLI. I knew early on in GLI that I had found a cause that would inspire me, challenge me, empower me, and become a driving force in my life. For me, the ADL's mission to stop the defamation of the Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment to all is a moral imperative. Sadly, it resonates as much, if not more today, than when the ADL was founded. GLI lit the fire in me to join the fight against anti-Semitism and all forms of bigotry, racism, discrimination, hate, and injustice. However, in all of my years with the ADL, I have never felt a greater sense of urgency for each of us to step up our commitment, take action, speak truth to power, and stand strong together. Our success depends upon the collective strength of not only our phenomenal professionals, but also our extensive base of committed lay leaders. I am so proud to play a role in an organization that has led for 104 years and continues to lead this crucial fight. Let's turn action into impact together. Thank you very much.
So, you know, it's funny, I'm listening to Margie talk and I'm thinking about what it means to share the stage with her and the others who won the award this evening. And I'm thinking about what it means to share the stage with Gibran and with Vanita and with DeRay and, of course, with Rabbi Rostin. And I'm reminded about, you know, the word that Jess used. She talked about being an ally. And I think that's really what this work is about. It's about allyship. You know, tonight we celebrate their contributions, and so many of you stood up. And many of you in this room have been with us for years and years, through thick and through thin. And you're part of our history. And I think about this room. This is the room. This is the room where President Eisenhower spoke at ADL's 40th anniversary. And why did he choose to speak here, in part? It's because of the leadership that Ben Epstein had shown and the ADL had shown in standing up to Joe McCarthy. Not because he was attacking us. He was attacking everyone, I guess you could say. But we stood up because we knew what it meant to be an ally for those who were being attacked and slandered and terrorized. And I think about the fact that President Kennedy stood in this room at our 50th anniversary, just a few years after he'd written For ADL, A Nation of Immigrants, a book that we commissioned him to write when he was still a junior senator for Massachusetts, to honor the fact at a time when there was all kinds of rhetoric against immigrants, somewhat similar to the tone we see today, and to remind the country that we are indeed a land of refugees and a nation of immigrants. It wasn't that we were necessarily being attacked, but we stood up as allies. We stood up as allies. And I am reminded as I think about the questions that DeRay posed to us about how will we be bridge builders, we have work to do to build those bridges to other communities. And I say that because it's not about lessening the work that we do in any way. It's about magnifying it. It's about invigorating it. It's about recognizing, as Rabbi Rostin reminded us with the words of Hillel, that when we must be there for others in order to be there for ourselves. We have work to do to lift up those equities and to renew that struggle with other communities. And I am so committed, more so than ever, to do that with all of you here this evening and going forward. It really is our history. And so as I think about the qualities that all three of you bring to ADL, for which we are so grateful and indebted, it just reminds me about how powerful this ADL family is. And I think it really does justice and lifts up Daniel Ginsberg's legacy. And so it really is a gift to be able to share that with all of you here tonight. I'm only sorry that Karen couldn't be here, but I know she'd be proud of what we did this evening. So congratulations and mazel tov to each of you on this well-deserved honor. Please, if I could ask you to indulge me one more time and join me in a round of applause for the 2017 Ginsberg Leadership Award winner.